game-winning drives out of Oregon's Dante Moore and out of Fernando Mendoza and out of Indiana's Fernando Mendoza. We're going to go over to the Indiana-Penn State game first because I believe both of these game-winning drives were very different. Now, Fernando Mendoza in this game, he did have an interception. This game was very close. We saw Penn State have a lead in this game. Now, the one thing I do have to say, these teams like a Penn State, like an LSU, we're going to talk about them being on my best bets this week. They are still going to be very competitive, but you're going to be able to get them at a discount because, again, just how their season has went. And I actually like for Indiana that they didn't blow out Penn State. I know that might sound crazy, like, hey, you want them to beat everybody they're supposed to beat by a wide margin. I understand that, but at the same time, for not only these top prospects in Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore, but for these teams, you want to see them go from trial and tribulations. Like, you don't want to see just them blow out everybody, walking into college football playoffs, and then not be able to handle adversity. Now, again, Penn State still has everybody they have on defense. I get it, they don't have their head coach and their quarterback, but that defense is the same. That defense is still, a tough defense to go up against. And Fernando Mendoza in this game winning drive, I think really helped him out in the Heisman race because, again, we haven't seen anybody, not only is this Heisman race not one of the best Heisman races, I think we could all admit that, but we haven't seen anybody necessarily have a Heisman moment. I believe this was Fernando Mendoza's Heisman moment. Now, I think this was very different from Dante Moore because I think Fernando Mendoza had a lot of spectacular catches on this drive. I believe from his tight end, Charlie Becker, had a great catch. And then when you look at Omar Cooper on third down, Fernando Mendoza throwing that up, that was more Omar Cooper's moment than Fernando Mendoza's. Omar Cooper had the catch of the year in this game to be able to jump up, get that ball, still remain to get not only a foot in, but 2 feet in. Even though we know college football, you only need to have 1 foot in. Absolutely phenomenal. Fernando Mendoza coming back in this game in his own territory to come back, lead this drive. Multiple really good throws, but I also love how his receivers, his tight end, are able to make great plays for him as well, even though they were really good throws, better catches. And like I said, I think it is very important that they have another game where they really have to face adversity. Because, like I said, you get into the college football playoffs, you get into this Big Ten championship, every game should be tight, and you're going to need to be in these situations. I don't like a team that hasn't been in this situation multiple times. And then also for Fernando Mendoza as an NFL guy. I believe this is the biggest thing that we really judge NFL guys coming out of college. Like, you don't face these hardships every week. So I think it's very important too, where we saw Fernando Mendoza in a 2 minute drill beat Penn State. Like, I think it's huge. And again, I think the catches really are something you should highlight more than even his play. Then you get into Oregon and Dante Moore. I absolutely love what Oregon did here. Now, when we look at Oregon in this game and how they move back in the rankings, how Ole Miss jumped them, I don't really understand. I think Iowa is a really good football team, and I think Oregon really had to handle hardships in this game. And I love the character of Dante Moore. I absolutely love it. Let's get into it. So you look at this Oregon Iowa game, and not only is Oregon away playing a really good Iowa team, when you look at what was going on in that game with the weather conditions, it wasn't in Oregon's favor. Then you also look at Oregon not having DeCorian Moore, not having Kenyon Sadiq, Gary Bryant Jr. leaving early in this game. They were playing outside of Malik Benson with all pass catchers that they haven't relied on all year. And what happened in this game? Dante Moore did not throw the football, complete a pass for about an hour and a half in this game. You have an NFL prospect in Dante Moore, and they said, we're going to stick with what we think is going to win this game. We're going to run the football. Now, what I love about Oregon, I have said it, the ability to use different backs. Noah Winnington really came on this year. You're looking at a guy that's the veteran in this offense. We all know the years he put in Western Kentucky, the years he put in Oregon. This is a guy that's 4+ years in college football. Jordan Davidson, they also used. He had a couple of big rushes in this game. De'Ara Hill had a big rush in this game. And I think the ability to be able to use different backs and be able to win in a variety of different ways is going to make Oregon a dangerous team, again, getting into the end of the year. But what I absolutely love in this game, Oregon had control for the majority of this game. And when you sit and look at Dante Moore not being able to throw a pass for an hour and a half, based on the conditions, based on the way they were running the football, Iowa comes down, has a phenomenal drive that absolutely shifts the momentum. And then you look again, late in this game, Dante Moore, 2 minute drill. Like I said, after not throwing the football for a lot of this game, only having 13 completions in this game, what does he do? I think he has one of the best throws all year in college football. And we talked about how Dante Moore is one of the best pure passers in college football. But the throw that he put on Malik Benson, you guys can look back at it. Oh my God. The window he had to put that in, especially not, like I said, not having rhythm passing in this game and being able to set Oregon for a game winning field goal in this game, I thought this was an extremely impressive win for Oregon. And again, I've had issues with the college football committee year after year. How they drop after this game, I just don't quite understand it. Iowa's a good football team. They had injuries to so many guys on their offense. The adversity they faced in this game and them coming out a win, I think it's an impressive win. I'm sorry. Again, I know everybody would like Oregon to blow out Iowa, but that's just not what the game script had in this game. With the weather conditions, with the injuries they had, with all their pass catchers, and I love the adversity that Dante Moore faced. Like again, Oregon said, we're going to run the football. This is what the game plan says. Then, not having any rhythm, like I said, having this drive, getting them to win, I absolutely love it. Again, Dante Moore, Fernando Mendoza, I really like what they did last Saturday because it shows not only you put these teams in tight games, which I also like for the team aspect, being able to go into the college football playoffs with these situations because we look, Oregon, Indiana played each other. Ironically, that was one of the tight games they played in. Then Oregon played Penn State. That's another tight game. So you have two tight games there. And then you have Indiana playing a very tight game as well um, this weekend against Penn State. Like you have to have multiple tight games going into the college football playoffs, in my opinion. You have to be able to handle adversity. And for guys, for teams in the NFL that want to invest their future in these quarterbacks, it is very important to see that they could go in a 2 minute drill and win a football game when adversity hits. Absolutely love it from both of them. What are we going to get into next?